All right, Cody. So you turned pro in 2015. Where did you go? What was your plan when you turned pro?
So I spent 2013 as an amateur. I actually turned pro in 2014.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, so January of 2014, I spent all basically 2013 sort of gearing up, focused on playing some of the kind of startup PGA tours that they had started, which were PGA Tour Latin America and PGA Tour Canada.
Mhm.
And so that was kind of my goal. The very first tournament I played as a pro was the Q School for PGA Tour Latin America in January of 2014. They had a qualifying in Florida, but of course the tours in Latin America. So I went there and got a full card, and then ended up
Sick.
sort of just basing my whole year. It was like kind of happened in an instant. It's
Wow.
like 4 rounds of golf, and I had a buddy caddying for me who actually I work with now in my present
Nice.
life, but he was caddying for
Wow.
me, and it's kind of like all of a sudden, all right, well, the first tournament's in a few weeks in Colombia, and off I go. And it was, kind of as I alluded to. I mean, I spent my whole life literally dreaming about being a worldwide traveling professional golfer,
Yeah.
and so just that for, and it's of course, I wasn't playing on the PGA Tour or the European Tour. I mean, these tournaments, they were run fantastic. I mean, the PGA Tour does a great job organizing, orchestrating those smaller tours, but you're still, you're traveling to some pretty rough places, and
Right.
um, they do the best that they can, but it's not, of course, it's not glamorous, but it didn't matter to me. It was like the coolest thing in the world, just the fact that I had a card on a tour to go play. And so, yeah, that first year I played, yeah, I don't know, 17 tournaments maybe in Latin America. And then I
Wow.
went somewhere along the way in there, went to the Q School for Canada and got a card there too. So I played some tournaments that summer up there, and um, played some like local state opens around here. Like I would always play in the Connecticut Open and the Mass
Hmm.
Open, and a few of those kind of tournaments. But for me, it was always about being on the road, playing those like 4-day international tournaments, because that felt like kind of the real deal. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, all right, yeah, you're traveling, you're on the road. It's travel on Monday, practice Tuesday, pro am Wednesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The
Yeah.
real
Getting
schedule.
used, yeah, getting used to that schedule. So
Yeah.
you didn't really have, did you have like a house that you stayed at, like your home base, or were you just literally just going from hotel to hotel, shacking up with other people like nearby? Like, what was that like? I mean, it had to be pretty wild.
More of the latter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always, I'm from Connecticut and always have a home base here, and so I would stay. A lot of times it was just like with my mom, because she's had a house in Berlin that I grew up in central Connecticut here. So I would just dump all my stuff there and kind of come and go in and out. And then in the winter, I had a place in Jupiter in West Palm, like every other professional golfer, basically.
Yeah.
And so I spent a couple of winters down there, but then after a while, was like, why am I spending the money for this? It just didn't really make sense anymore. So I got rid of that and ended up, yeah, just pretty much literally, you're like a nomad. And,
Yeah.
I just, if I wasn't traveling, I was, staying home, but also, working and trying to plot out the next tournaments, or, of course you're working even when you're at home.
Yeah.
It's
So
full
what were you
time.
doing for work during that whole thing? It kind of had to be, I mean, pretty flexible.
Yeah, no, I was playing 100% full
Oh, that's
time.
it.
I wasn't
Oh, okay.
working. Yeah, when I say working, I mean like trying to get better at making making more
Yeah,
20 footers. Yeah,
Practicing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Practicing.
yeah,
I
exactly.
totally
Try to hit it
misunderstood
better.
that.
Yeah, try to suck less,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah, yeah. If I can figure out why I missed the last three cuts in a row. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah,
Did you
pretty
did
much
you
it.
enjoy did you enjoy that like kind of nomad lifestyle? Was that fun for you at that time? Like, you're just turning pro, you're seeing all these new places, you're playing in these new events. Was that exciting?
Oh, it was the best. It
Yeah.
was amazing. Yeah, it was so awesome. When I was turned pro, I was 25. So I was kind of actually a little later than some guys, because I took the fifth year at Baylor, and
Yep.
then I spent another year and a half as an amateur, to one, just make sure I was playing really well, but I also wanted to have like a plan in place, and also sponsors and money lined up, so that when I did it, it wasn't like I started and had, if you missed the first cut, you're broke.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest
Right.
challenge is the money out there playing those tours. So I had a bunch of these members actually who got behind me, and a couple who were very influential, in particular at Weathersfield Country Club, where I was a member after college. And it was my first year there, was 2013, and I happened to have a great year around here, and I was player of the year in Connecticut. And and they said, "Hey, what are you doing?" Or like, what's your plan here?
Yeah.
Are you just like a really good amateur golfer
Wow.
who like you don't have a job? Like, what do you do? And I was like, well,
Yeah.
obviously I want to turn pro. And so some of these guys, they didn't know like how it worked or what the plan was. I was like, yeah, no, I'm trying to like become a professional golfer. Like I want to do that my whole life. And it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. All right, well, we can help you do that. So, there are a couple of guys up there who, some of them I've still seen recently and stay in touch with who, without them, it probably would have never been possible. So people at Weathersfield really, they were the ones who put me on the platform to really do it and get started and raise a ton of money for me with like a fundraiser raffle kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how I got started. And then I took that money, went to the Q school for Latin America, got the card, and then off I went.
Yeah.
And, sort of went from there.
That's pretty wild. So this would be the second year you won the Connecticut Open. That was your first professional win, right?
Right, and that was my second year as a pro. That was 2015.
Yeah. And your brother was on the bag. That must have been pretty cool.
The story that I think people see the picture of us on the 18th green, after I've won, but actually I had my lifelong sort of faithful caddy. His name's Keith. He was on the bag for 51 holes. He's going to kill me knowing that I told the story, but so he has diabetes. And it was like 110 degrees. He's got the staff bag carrying, and we're on the 16th fairway, and I've got, I think, a 2-shot lead at that point, and we're walking. We're on the clock, by the way, too, because I play kind of slow, which I can admit. So we're on the clock. They're kind of like, hey, you guys got to pick it up. You're a hole behind. So we're walking. I take off. I try to get to my tee shot. I look around. Keith's on the ground, back 150 yards back with the bag, flop down.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So I'm like, all right. Yeah. So my brother's working for the CSGA at the time, and he came out of the gallery, grabbed the bag, carried for me the last 3 holes.
The last 3 holes, and he got all the credit.
Yeah. And
that's crazy.
But what
that
can
had
you do?
To be nuts.
It was. I'm trying to. Obviously, I'm fighting tooth and nail just to try to hang on to the tournament. And so I bogeyed 16, so now I was down a 1-shot lead, and I hit it into like 15 feet on 17. And Brent, obviously, he had played, and he was also working for the CSJ, so he had already played that hole that morning.
Oh wow!
So he's carrying for me, which
Yeah,
so he's on the 17th green. He's like, look, dude, I had like basically the same putt. Like it breaks 3 inches left.
Wow.
Perfect.
And I made it. And so I had a 2-shot lead going into 18. So I was,
damn, that's a crazy story.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I give him a lot of credit. I mean, of course, Keith gets credit for 51 holes, but Brent gives me the perfect read on 17. So, 6
kind
to
of
1
worked out
together.
perfect. Yeah. Now the crazy thing about that is the person who got amateur honors came in second, right?
Right. Yeah. Yep. So it was John Flaherty played at UConn. Yeah.
So that's crazy. What happens if an amateur wins that event? Do they get the money or no?
No,
they don't get any of the money. Where does the money go?
To me. Yeah.
Oh, it would have been. So regardless, you would have got the money.
I still would have got the first place check, unless it dropped down to the next person, which I can't remember how many shots back they were. So it's, kind of course, the biggest thing when you're fighting out in those tournaments is winning is great, but you really need the money.
Exactly.
I think I kind of had locked up the first place money, but of course I wanted to win the tournament too.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. That's a very cool story. So you played Latin America tour in Canada, and you also did 1 season in China, correct?
Right. Yep. I played a little bit on the Asian Development Tour, which is like the Asian Tour's sort of Corn Ferry Tour, if you will.
Okay.
I played a little bit on that too. So I actually spent a decent amount of time in Asia, and then of course my final year as a pro was PGA Tour China.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you obviously lived out there for a while.
Nope.
No?
No.
Wow.
No. For a variety of reasons.
Wow.
Yeah, no, we just fly back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that
Latin
had to
America,
get crazy.
the biggest thing that, to think about is, so you're playing in Latin America or Canada too, for that matter, is you're flying north and south, right? So you're not changing time zones more than like 1 or 2 time zones one way or the other.
Yeah.
But of course, when you're flying east west, China's 12 hours ahead. So it's, whatever time it is, it's 12 hours different. So
Damn.
I did that back and forth, I don't know, 5 or 6 times in a like 6 or 7 month stretch. So you'd fly over, play 2 or 3, fly back home for 2 weeks or something like that, fly back over, play another 2, 3, come back home. And so
Damn.
yeah.
That's crazy.
After 2 or 3 weeks in China, I was good. I was happy to take the 14-hour flight home. I was all set.
Damn, that is crazy. So what out of all the tour, what's your best finish on any of those tours? Did you win in any of those?
I never won any events out there. No. I had a couple of top 10s, but that was about it. I got in the hunt a couple of times, where 3rd or 4th round I was up there, somewhere around the lead, but never really, quite figured it out there, at least, similarly on a consistent basis, just never really figured it out. I mean, I'd have a couple of great weeks and, a couple of good stretches here and there, but, playing those tours, it was so hard. The first, second year, it was a lot easier to be out there. By the time you're in your 3rd, 4th year playing those tours, again, it's, part of it is financial, and then part of it is, mental. Like, okay, I'm in my late 20s now. Why haven't I made it? Why am I out here and not playing on the Corn Ferry Tour? Because guys that I was rooming with and buddies with, they're on the Corn Ferry Tour or they're on the PGA Tour. So what is it between me and them? What's holding me back here? And it can get in your head pretty good.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's now you roomed with Adam Long.
That was my whole first year in Latin America, was rooming with Adam. Yeah, he was great.
That's wild. Yeah. Because he just won this year on the PGA Tour, I think. Right?
He won 2 years ago in Palm Springs when he beat Phil on the last hole. Yeah.
That's
he
crazy.
Like 20 feet and made it like right in Phil's face to win.
And I was reading too. Martin Traynor was in there, and like there was another name I forget.
Keith Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yep.
All PGA Tour winners.
Cody Gribble. He was a Latin America guy too. I played with him in college too, because he played at Texas and when I was at Baylor.
Yep.
And
lefty.
Yeah.
It's perfect
lefty.
To bring him up here.
Very good lefty. Yeah, we're like very similar body type, and he's just swings from the other side.
Listen, we haven't had a lefty on yet, so we're gonna have to get you.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, we might have to get him on here.
I know a couple.
You might be our guy.
All right. I got a couple ins.
That's awesome. John, what do you got? You got any questions?
Yeah, so you're talking about this professional run. Like, so what would you consider like the strength of your game, or kind of like describe your game a little bit like to us?
Typically, when I'm playing really well, it's because I'm driving it really well. And I was always a really good driver of the ball when I was a kid. So that was kind of what I leaned on, because, again, my short game wasn't that great. I didn't have a great wedge game, mainly because when I was a kid, I didn't practice that stuff nearly enough. And so it's kind of like when I'm playing well, or I feel the most comfortable and confident, is I lean on the driver, long irons, same thing, being able to hit 4 irons and 5 irons and things like that. My game shifted over the years now to where the short game is probably the strength of my game now, because I practice it so much.
Yeah.
Now it's more, short game, bunker shots and, wedges inside 100, 120, which is kind of, again, crucial when you're a pro. And then the long game has sort of been, again, my fight has always been consistency, really, to get, to that level and then sustain it, which I know that's pretty much every golfer, but that's always been my biggest challenge. Is there are days or stretches where I'll have it and I'll feel like it's like a video game, right, for like a couple weeks, and then it's all of a sudden it ekes away from you just a little bit, something changes, you don't even notice it, and then in 2 or 3 months you're like, man, this is not right. I'm not hitting it good. And like what the hell happened? And and you look at videos and stuff and they all kind of look the same, and it's tough. It's just so
It's just a
hard to hold
mental,
it at that level.
yeah,
Yeah,
crazy mental struggle. Ugh, that's crazy. So what's your lowest score though when you're in those video game type moments?
I shot 62 and set the course record at Farmington last year, where I was a member for the last couple of years.
Damn.
Wow. 60.
So that was my lowest. The only other time I shot lower than that was I shot 61 or 60 at Weathersfield, but it was from kind of like the red and white tees. I took these kids out one time who were like 13, 14 years old. I was trying to convince them to not play the black tees. These kids are like 14. They're playing the back tees. I'm like, dude, you hit the driver like 200 yards, man. You should not be playing like 450-yard par fives. I was like, come on, let's go out. We'll play 18 holes. I'll play the red tees with you, or we'll play a combo, like some red, some white, some blue, and just kind of like show you like you should be able to, you should get comfortable making birdies, going for par fives and two, because that's what I did when I was a kid. My coach would not let me play white. He wouldn't let me play anything but red tees until I could prove I could shoot in the 60s.
Wow.
Because he wanted me to learn how to, because that's what you need to do, of course, at the next level.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to instill that in these kids. So we went out, and so I'm messing around with these kids. We played all 18 holes, and I'm like, we got to like the 16th hole. I started keeping score. I'm like, Jesus, how many under am I? And I just figured, I think, it was like 61 or 60, but I don't count that as
that's awesome.
As a round. But,
if you had shot a 59, would you have counted it?
Probably would have told everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so crazy. It's so crazy that we listened to another podcast and they actually said that they were trying to like play from the red tees. Would you suggest that for amateurs to like try and do that to get better? Or
definitely shorter tees or a combo, combo set, or, even if you're really good, just changing it up, even playing from the red tees, even for myself now, there's no shame in it or harm in it, because, I'll play in tournaments where sometimes we will play 300-yard par fours. So it's not like every tournament golf course, every single par four is like 450. That's just not the case. Sometimes you play par threes, and, championship tournaments, you might play a par three that's 100 yards. So it's, why not play it, once in a while too. And it is good, I think, for people just to get an exposure, especially when you're a kid, to get exposure, like I said, going for a par 5 and 2, or being able to hit wedges into greens instead of always hitting a hybrid. Because that's not really how golf is played at the next level. So
that's pretty cool. We're gonna have to try that one time, John.
I know. We've talked about that. We gotta break the mental scoring barrier.
That's it. Well, that's it. Yeah.
We talked a little about that mental scoring barrier with Ayers, actually, and he was saying that like once you get to a level, like you don't start getting nervous until like you hit your number. And he said like his was like -8 or something like that. What's your number that you start to get nervous at?
Question.
Or do you even have one? Maybe
I
he's just a wackadoo.
Yeah, maybe so. I think so. Well, you chatted with him for an hour. You probably get the feeling. You probably got to beat on him.
He's good shit though, too.
Yeah, he's great. He's such a good kid. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really. I mean, sometimes I'll be nervous at 2 under. If it's a really tough day or something like that.
Yeah.
And then there are other days when it's if it's easy conditions, easy golf course. Yeah, I mean, you're looking. Especially when I was, not so much now, but when I was playing as a pro, I mean, you think you're killing it and you're like 5, 6 under, and then you look on the leaderboard when you finish and there's some guy who shot 10 who you've never even heard of. So it's like, I guess I shouldn't have been so nervous at 5. I'm 5 under, I'm 5 shots back after 1 round. I guess I shouldn't have been so nervous.
Damn, that's crazy. So what do you have any crazy, like what's the craziest story that you have either like in a tournament or like out with the guys on tour? Like I'm sure that you have some wild stories. You can keep it PG if you want. You can go as wild as you want, but just give us a crazy story on tour, maybe with some of your roommates, if you can. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely a few. I mean, there were lots of interesting. I had a couple of run-ins, like health-wise, traveling out there. A couple of times I got like really bad food poisoning. Ended up in like ambulances with an IV in the arm.
Oh gosh,
Jesus!
Terrible stuff.
Oh god.
But my last year in playing in China, we were staying in some kind of like smaller city, kind of middle of nowhere, and tough golf course. First round, I think I shot like 1 under. Maybe I was pretty high up there, playing well. And I go back to the room, after the morning round, and my roommate was playing in the afternoon. So I'm back in the room. I go to take a shower, and I slice my toe open on some like jagged tile in the shower.
Oh,
Jesus.
God.
Slice it up. Cannot get the thing to stop bleeding. It's gushing. I'm sitting there for like 2 hours, got it all bandaged up. Cannot get it to stop. So my roommate comes back. He's like, dude, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, dude, I cannot get my toe to stop bleeding. And I had to play the next morning, of course. And so I'm walking around trying to get this thing. I got it all bandaged up, blood gushing. So I walk down to the lobby, hobble down there, and some guy in the hotel puts me in his car, drives me to like an urgent care at like 10 at night, some back alley, like out of a movie. Lights are flickering. The doctor's wearing sandals. Puts me on the bed where some other kid had just been there, blood and other people's blood everywhere.
Oh my God.
Tells the guy who brought me from the hotel, he's like, all right, I can do stitch or glue. So I said, all right, give me the glue. Give me the glue. So the guy just like dunks my toe in this like brown shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was it. Bandaged it up, and next day off I go.
And you played?
Yeah, made the cut. It was so painful. It hurt because it was on my right foot. So when you finish, of course, me being a righty, rolling up on my right toe. Dude, it was brutal. Yeah,
that's
that was
crazy.
A good one. I don't think I ever told my mom that one. She used to always be some nervous me traveling. There was some that I left out, of course. But
of course. That's funny. Well, I hope she listens to this.
Still got a scar on the toe now. I still got a scar for the story.
Nice.
Oh my God.
That's so crazy. John, you got any more questions about the pro stuff? I know this year, you got anything?
No, yeah, I think you're about to get into it.
Yeah. This year or this past year, you decided to be an amateur again. What caused that? What brought that on?
Yeah. Again, after being out there playing those tours for 5 years, it's, after a while, there's not really much life. It's kind of, your whole life revolves around you playing golf, of course. And anybody in your circle, it's all about you. It's all about, where you're traveling next and what you need to make it. And so I wanted some other life outside of that. And, I got into such a place where golf was not enjoyment anymore. Even playing tournaments, it was strictly work. And and I didn't know if I stopped playing if I'd ever even want to play competitive golf again, but I just knew that I wasn't happy doing it anymore because I just didn't want to live that sort of like rough nomad life anymore. It was cool and it was amazing experience, especially those first couple of years. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm eternally grateful. All those people that helped me get there never would have ever had that chance if it wasn't for them. But after doing it for 5 years, it wears on you pretty good.
I'm sure.
It was time, I wanted to have some sort of, normal life, at least for a little while. I haven't closed the door on, maybe doing it again someday or at least trying, but, I wanted some sort of stability in my life.
Yeah, that was kind of my next like follow-up question, because you did have such success this year. You are the CSGA Player of the Year or in 2020. So you clearly had a great year. How does that work? Do you have to get points for that, or is it voted on? I think I read it's points.
It's all points. Yeah. I'm glad. I wouldn't want to put that up to a vote, but
right.
Yeah. We'd have some election fraud maybe going on, or who knows.
Oh, boy.
It's strictly points, point system. And so, yeah, I mean, it was, I played really well, obviously in 2020, but I found myself, I had a lot of close calls. I was a runner up in the Connecticut Amateur. I lost in a playoff in the Connecticut Mid Amateur. I finished second in the Palmer Cup, which is the big stroke play tournament. So I didn't win anything.
I was just going to say,
which is, not that that's everything, but, to me, of course, I'm out there mainly because I want to win. That's kind of like, the driving factor behind all of it. So.
Yeah. Did you play a full schedule this year? Did you kind of pick and choose and just play really well, or what was that?
I played a ton, actually. Yeah. Pretty lucky that my boss and and the guys I work with are big golfers, total golf junkies. So they were all about it. They were totally fine. They knew that I was, setting my sights on doing this. So they were great.
Ask your boss to caddy for you if he wouldn't let you go. Just be like, come on, you can come caddy if you need.
Pretty much. No, he's pretty good. Yeah, both of them. The two guys that I work for are both really good players. One in particular, he played in college. He was runner-up in the Connecticut Amateur one year, actually. And, so he's phenomenal. Really good player. So I actually am trying to get him to play in the tournaments more so. So I'm not the only one leaving the office. Yeah. So it looks better. If he leaves, if both of us go, then it makes it look a little better for me.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Cool, man. Well, John, you got any more before we get into the rapid fire?
Yeah. So where did you say you're playing out of Farmington, or where's home base now? Are you playing out of?
Yeah, so I live in West Hartford. I was playing out of Farmington for the last 2 years, mainly because my office is in Farmington that I work out of. But I actually just joined Wampanoag in West Hartford, mainly because I live in West Hartford, and my fiance, she's got a lot of connections there, and business connections, and then also just sort of longtime friends that are there. So we ended up joining there. It's very much a family club. Nice golf course, but very much a family club. So it was good, good for us.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Anything else, man? I got one little, our producer, Frankie, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. When we were kind of getting this whole thing going, he said that you are a very good golfer, but you're not that good at bocce. Is that true?
Well, that is total. I will take him down any day of the week.
See,
I'm trying to get a court in my backyard. Honestly, that's my real
wow.
goal. But
okay, well,
yeah, wow, that's a low blow, Frankie. That is a low blow.
He actually, What was the quote? What was the quote in that? I think he said, "I played him once in bocce and I whooped his ass." I think he said.
That seems. I'm gonna definitely call BS on that. Wow,
he's airing him out.
I didn't lose that night.
Yeah, that's so
pretty
funny.
Sure who knows? There are a lot of drinks involved. Hazy memories. I don't know. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. Maybe I'm not as good as I think I am actually.
Oh, that's so funny.
Probably the case.
I guess we'll have one more question I had written down. What do you like to do outside of golf? I know your whole life is pretty much based around golf, but what are your other hobbies? What do you just like to do when you're not thinking about golf?
It's a good question. Previously there wasn't much, of course, when I was playing professionally. Now I have a little bit more of a balanced life. I have a dog now. My fiance actually got me a dog last summer, which I've never had a dog. Always wanted a dog, and she surprised me with a dog last year.
What kind of dog?
That's how I knew I got the right one. A golden retriever.
Nice.
Yeah, his name's
What's
Henry.
The name?
Henry.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Hank.
And Hank. Yeah. So he's the best. So now it's pretty much from not thinking about golf, I'm pretty much thinking about Henry.
That's awesome.
Doing something revolving him, which is amazing. I like I said, I wanted one my entire life, and with playing so much golf and having a single mom, and we never had time for a dog, obviously. So
That's cool.
Now that I've settled down, last summer, my fiance popped me in the car one day and said, "Yeah, let's take a drive," and we started driving. And an hour later, we show up, and there was Henry. I started bawling, crying, and
that's awesome.
The rest is history.
Yeah,
that makes me feel better. When I got my first dog, I cried too because I wanted one forever. I always wanted a bulldog, and I'm driving home, and I got her on my chest, and I just was like, I'm like going like this out of the window. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's cried.
Yeah, definitely not.
So you keep saying fiance though. When did you get engaged? Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. We got engaged a while ago. I think it was February of 2019. We were supposed to get married in October of 2020.
Okay.
But we pushed it with everything going
on.
So we pushed
COVID,
it.
That stinks.
Bad, but
October's a good month.
Yeah, so she wanted a fall wedding, so we pushed it to October of 2021. And we'll see. Hopefully,
cool. Fingers crossed.
Goes on.
Yeah.
But
now that we're friends, we'll be waiting for the invite. So my birthday's in October. It'll work out perfect.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Just send me, DM me your address there. I'll drop that in the mail.
Don't worry about it. I'll get into that. So, all right, let's wrap this thing up. I got some rapid fire questions for you. It's just 5 questions. First thing that comes to your head, and then we'll get you out of here. You ready?
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right. Okay, first question. Favorite PGA Pro and favorite LPGA Pro, since we're getting into women's golf now.
PGA Pro will be Rory.
Another
second,
Rory.
Yeah.
LPGA Pro, I would say Christy Kerr. I mean, only because, she got in a car accident, played the U.S. Open, and I love wine. So
yeah, there you go.
I'm usually one for older women. So
okay, there you go.
Love it.
Very funny. All right, number 2, favorite on-course snack at the turn.
I do a little like trail mix kind of. I mix in like some cashews, almonds, raisins, and like some dry oats. So like my caddies call it like bird food. It's pretty disgusting looking. It's gross, but yeah, it's what I eat. Yep.
I hear that. That's a complete
food.
pro move. It's not a hot dog. It's not a burrito at the turn. It's gonna help me.
Yeah.
So this one's a 2-part question. In a casual round with buddies, are you a music on or music off guy?
I can go either way. I won't be the one to turn it on, but if they have it on, I won't say turn it off. Okay.
And the second question, are you slugging beers with your boys, or are you still kind of keep it low key?
Yeah, if I drink one drink on the golf course, I'm worthless. So I usually don't drink on the course. Okay. Only because after one, I'm pretty much like mail it in.
Yeah, and that's another pro move. You're
and I'm a
professional,
so yeah, which I can admit to. So
yeah, okay.
He's honest.
This is kind of a funny one, and I hope that we can kind of get this going. If you had to play Colton Nost in a rematch, do you think you could take him right now?
Wow, I'd want to know how much golf he's playing lately. Yes, I do. Yes.
Let's go.
Bring it
We're
on.
gonna get him. We're gonna tag
go.
him in this, and we're gonna get this going. Sponsored by the Lefties Lounge. Last question that we ask everybody: favorite lefty golf swing.
Golf swing. Nick O'Hearn. I mean, the fact that I love
Nick
Phil, of course, but Nick O'Hearn. I mean, the fact that he beat Tiger twice. Only guy to ever beat Tiger twice in match play, I believe.
That's awesome.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to look this guy up.
That stat.
It was like Accenture match play, like 2004, 2005. I think.
Wow.
Check those years.
That's awesome.
Could be a little rusty on my golf data, but I think that's great. Yeah.
It's definitely a name that we haven't heard on that. So that's awesome. Yeah. So, John, if you're good, I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you, Cody.
Yeah, thank you guys. No, it was great. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure to have you on, and we'll be following you. You're going to be playing the AM circuit this year? Or?
Yeah. Hopefully, nice. Who knows? Maybe even more than this year, or more than 2020 if my boss lets me.
Yeah. There you go. Nice. Well, good luck, and hopefully we can have you on in the future again and shoot the shit. And it was a lot of fun, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, I'd love to be back on. Thanks.
Awesome.